I'm Alli and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm taking part in Heidi Sonboul's DIY challenge. This month is a free theme, meaning we can create whatever we want. However, I know that Heidi loves a good Dollar Tree DIY, so I definitely knew that that was the theme I wanted to do for this challenge. And because I've really been feeling the boho vibes that the summer months bring, I decided to make this a boho Dollar Tree DIY video. This first DIY has to be my favorite one in this entire video. I saw at Dollar Tree they have those wire hanging planter baskets, and of course that makes a wonderful base for so many DIYs. I saw even Heidi did one on her channel where she turned them into bird cages, and it was so cute. So I decided I wanted to turn mine into some super cute, trendy boho wall sconces. So let's get into this DIY. I'm starting out with 2 of these wire baskets from Dollar Tree. That's because I want to make a set of lights. However, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm only going to be working with 1 of them, but you just follow the same tutorial to make 2. So of course the first thing you need to do is remove the chains and the tag. Then I took them outside and gave them a coat of white spray paint just to conceal the black so that you don't see it on the finished product. Next, you're going to need some macrame cord, which I'll link the one I'm using down below. And all I do is just hot glue it to the wire rim of this frame and just begin wrapping it all the way around the circumference. I just wanted to briefly show how I wrapped it around the place where the chain attaches. To begin forming the lampshade, I glued down the macrame cord right at the bottom of the frame, the rim, I suppose. Then I take it and wrap it around the front of the next wire around the back, and then repeat the same thing all the way around the rest of this wire basket. It's probably easier to watch what I'm doing rather than have me try to explain it in words, so you can just see that right here. And you'll want to pull the macrame cord pretty tightly because the tighter it is, the better the overall effect is going to look. To finish the top, I'm just gluing down a piece of cord instead of wrapping it around the rim, just because I think it kind of finishes the overall effect a little bit better. Now you may be wondering why my setup got darker on one side of the table. Well, that's because I'm borrowing the bulb and cord from my lighting setup. But it ended up being perfect for this DIY, so I didn't have to spend any extra money. I didn't have to go to any stores to put this together. And also because I didn't want to go to the store to get the special type of hardware that you can get for a lampshade, I decided to DIY my own using some of this white wire. And let me tell you, it's definitely not the best method. I definitely recommend getting the hardware used for a project like this. And all I did was wrap it on the lampshade and then wrap it around the base of my light bulb until it held it in place in the center. And obviously not the best solution, but it did the job and it still looked pretty cute. And to hang these up on the wall, I picked up 2 of these plant hooks from Dollar Tree, of course, and it works great for these DIY sconces. For this next one, I wanted to do a pretty large wall decor piece, and I was inspired by seeing some textile pieces of like yarn kind of in a hoop, and they're just really pretty. So I wanted to do my own take using Dollar Tree products, so let me show you how to make this one. I picked up this flying ring from Dollar Tree because I loved how large the hoop shape was. It was right in the toy aisle. And then also one of these basic small round mirrors. So to match the finish on the mirror, I'm going to use some ultra matte black spray paint to cover the flying ring. Once the spray paint is dry, you can bring it back in and then remove the mirror and the backing out of its frame. Next, you're gonna need 3 colors of yarn. I wanted to go for a burnt orange, a cream, and a black. First, taking the black yarn, I just cut a big length of it and kind of tripled it up a couple times, then also folded that in half, and then cut the end off, and then folded it in half again, so that I had 2 sections of 6 strands of black yarn. Next, taking some hot glue, take one of the sections and attach it to the back of the ring and let that cool, and repeat that with the other section. Then I did the same thing with the orange yarn, but this time I increased my number of strings. I think I did about 10. And then I did the same thing with the cream and did, I think, 12 of the cream strands of yarn. Once all the pieces are attached on the top, then you can start pulling them tightly down to the bottom of the frame, wrap it around, and attach the yarn in the back. And I just did that with all of the colors on one side first, then repeated those steps with the colors on the other side. Once the small frame is done, it's time to start on the bigger one, and I'm repeating the exact same steps, except I increased my amount of yarn. I doubled the original amount from the top hoop for each one, but as you can see, I just glue all of the pieces down at the top first. Once that's complete, instead of pulling each section down one at a time, I decided I was going to kind of overlap them. So first I did all of the black strands, then I did the orange strands on both sides, and then the cream strands on both sides. And just make sure you pull these really tight, and also that the strands are nice and perfectly spread out. That is the way to get the true effect of this DIY. And once all of the yarn strands are attached, you'll want to, of course, attach both of the hoops. So I just looped some of the black yarn around the top of the larger hoop and then just hot glued it down to the back of the smaller one. And as a finishing touch, I just tied some basic knots at the end of each of the fringes hanging off the bottom of the larger hoop. And then once I hung it on the wall, I gave the ends a trim. Finally, this third DIY was kind of just an attempt at a trend that I had seen. There's just so much rattan and cane and all of that stuff, and it's even making its way onto vases and planters and things like that. So I wanted to try doing that using a Dollar Tree vase. Let me show you how I did it. I picked up this vase from Dollar Tree. I liked it because it was a bit of an unusual shape, and the first thing I did was just wipe it down with some rubbing alcohol just to remove any of the oils and dirt and fingerprints. Then I took it outside and gave it a coat of white spray paint. I do recommend maybe using a primer instead, but I was just using what I already had on hand. Once that was dry, I brought it inside and started painting it with a peachy pink color. I just mixed a light pink and orange together to get the color I wanted. And I gave that 2 really thick coats of paint, letting it dry really well between both times. With the vase looking really great, I love the color. I picked up one of these children's hula skirts from Dollar Tree, and it's great because you get these really long lengths of raffia that's nice and smooth. So I just removed a couple of those off the skirt. To begin the cool lattice detail that I want to do, I started by gluing down the pieces of raffia to the bottom of the vase. Then I began crisscrossing it up the entire vase by just putting a little bit of hot glue where both pieces of the raffia come together. And you can kind of see what I am doing here, just creating a X shape or lattice work all the way to the very, very top of the vase. Once all of that is done, I snipped the ends of the raffia. I probably should have cut it a little shorter, and then folded each of the pieces into the inside of the vase. As the finishing touch, I took some more raffia and wrapped it around the entire little bottom part that you see here on the vase. And then just one more piece around the top. Those were my 3 DIYs for this video. I would like to thank Heidi for hosting this challenge. It's been a while since I participated in one, but I am so excited to be back. Of course, I will link Heidi's channel down below, along with the playlist of all the other creators taking part in this challenge. I would like to hear what your favorite DIY in this video was, or if you're coming from that playlist, comment down below because I would love to check out your video as well. And if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like, and if you haven't already, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button. So that's all I have for you in this video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!